Fragments of Silicon, ready to be programmed.
All right, welcome to another installment of Fragments of Silicon. I guess we start things off with a bit of show news, because we don't have a guest due to, I'm not sure if I can say unprecedented circumstances, but certainly rarefied, at least, with guests that we have personally interacted.
I guess unfortunate timing circumstances.
Well, yeah. Our guests had to pull their appearance mainly due to a legal dispute with their publisher. They mentioned that they are under NDA currently, and you know, we're worried about talking about their game. They have said that the legal dispute will hopefully be done by June, but that's a big maybe, especially with something like this. Like, June can come and go, and the situation could still very much not be resolved. But yes, so we're busting out the Heavens Vault today. Anyway, so with that in mind, I'm your host Adam. Joining me as always are Petty and Gollix. Right, let us get to the news. Petty, why don't you start us off this week?
Where to even begin?
Oh boy.
Well, I guess, Sunday we were supposed to have the Digimon starter deck pre-release for the new Beelzemon deck. And turns out there's a, I guess, bigger shop in, the big city that's basically been stealing the Digimon group that used to come to our store, because instead of driving 40 minutes to our game store, they're only 10 minutes away. So that would explain why the turnout has been getting lower.
Yeah, I can see why that would be happening.
So did you not have enough people, or?
Yeah, which is unfortunate.
Are you still going to be able to participate in Digimon tournaments?
Honestly, we don't really know. Like, if we get people to show up, that's cool. Once the anime comes around, they may check on, like, rating and stuff for that. Because if it's worth it, they may try and advertise, hey, we have the Digimon card game, like, on TV and stuff locally.
Mm-hmm.
But, if the TV ratings are, kind of a crapshoot, then they're going to have to thinking of something else to kind of bring new blood into the store. At least to play the game, like.
And unfortunately, this is Adventure 2020, which is,
It's better than nothing Digimon related.
That is true.
I mean,
it's more towards kids anyway. Try and get people new into the franchise.
It's also Digimon Adventure, I think, is the best shot at revitalization. The Digimon.
Well, they thought that, but Adventure 2020.
You don't know.
I mean, the characters are marketable, yes, but ultimately, the story that they told with them was not particularly compelling compared to the original one.
That's not what I'm getting at here. I'm just, where is the new? Do we know where Digimon Adventure 2020 is going to air?
I believe it's Cartoon Network, but I'm not sure fully on that.
because like what was it, Digimon Frost Wars, I think got thrown to Nicktoons now.
Yeah,
and only got like half translated. Yes.
yeah, we never got the, what is it, Seekers Saga?
Yeah. Which, but
The only cool part of that was the
and
end when
worth
all the
noting,
leaders
the
showed
card
up.
game doesn't even use the dub names for the
Yeah.
Cross Wars characters.
Mhm.
And that was still a better fate than Appmon, because that
Poor
didn't even
Appmon.
get localized. You know,
Supposedly, it depends how 2020 and Ghost Game do, since we're looking at another lull, at least for a little while. They may localize Appumon. Because it doesn't
Also,
have
we'll see what they do with what is the new thing, Seekers.
Yes, well, Seekers is supposed to mainly
It's not
be,
an anime,
yeah, it's
but
like
we'll see what.
novel and other
I
things
mean,
that's not anime.
obviously, I would postulate that Digimon getting pushed onto Cartoon Network in 2023 in the best thing for it. Um,
Yeah, but
probably,
it's better than fully, like Hulu or Netflix only, probably, at least to get new people into the franchise.
no, I'm going to say absolutely the opposite, because I'm like, you want to know where the kids are? They're on those platforms. They're watching stuff there.
Fair.
Like my nephew watches the Pokemon anime on fucking Netflix.
Fair.
Just you know,
I guess I'm
and
just an old fogey then.
well, it's also like I can probably guess where the time slot for Digimon is going to be. It's probably going to be like 6 or 7 in the morning,
Yeah, something
or
like that.
or it gets stuffed onto Sundays or something like that.
Yeah. Because if it's
You know,
not Teen Titans Go,
yeah. It's like,
good luck.
yeah. My point is, like, I don't see like Digimon having the best time slot in this day and age.
Hmm.
Like, just ask pretty much anything that they've licensed out in recent years.
Hmm. But yeah,
Anyway,
hopefully we can see about, getting some new blood into the card shop. Because at least they're not, like, in any danger of, like, having to close up shop because they use, I think it's called TCG Player to, like,
mhm.
sell cards online, and they're getting, like, over 500 orders a day. So financially they're good. It's just seeing if it's worth it to try and advertise and get people in playing, Digimon, Pokemon, One Piece. So yeah,
Anyway,
hopefully that works out and we can start having tournaments again. Um Monday I had my last knee injection, and I think this one is now making my knee hurt more than before I got the injections in the first place. So
did they say why?
they said basically give it some time. Um, I I should be getting my knee brace next Tuesday. So
Mhm.
basically, they said give it a week after that. If it's still hurting more, then I'm going to see about making an appointment, because it's possible with osteoarthritis, when they put the needle in, they could have scraped some bone, and I might need to have another surgery to clean it out or something.
Ouch.
Yeah, at least hopefully it's not like a full-on cartilage replacement or anything like that. So yeah, that's gonna be something I'm gonna need to keep an eye on.
Ugh.
And I guess obviously because of that, therapy has been more of a pain in the ass because my knee hurts more.
That could be literal.
Yeah.
Like, anyway,
And then my sleep clinic from getting the CPAP machine is at the point of actually enraging me. They have not gotten back to me in over a month. Theoretically, the prior authorization they need should only take 15-20 minutes to shoot through on their computer. My equipment provider has gotten nothing. I have received no replies to any calls or emails I have sent. So yeah. I sent them another email today basically being like, hey, yo, what the hell? And basically told them if I don't hear anything by next Wednesday, I'm going to be calling their office once every hour until I finally get someone, because this is actually ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I get there are other people ahead of me in line to get a CPAP machine and stuff, but I've technically been waiting in this line since December, so time to get your shit sorted and or possibly look into hiring new office help, because this is ridiculous. So yeah, I guess we'll see where this is going next week. And
Yep.
I think that's it for me.
All right, Galax.
Well, we also had the Digimon Beelzemon deck thing on Tuesday. I brought a kind of slapped together Bagra army deck because it had to be mono purple,
Yeah,
and didn't do too badly.
I wish I
But
knew how my Dark Animal deck would do, but such is
it
life.
could work. There's some support for it. But
Oh yeah.
the problem with the Bagra deck is that it's way too mega heavy, and there's barely any
Well,
ultimates.
your most of that is filled in by the black Nene Twilight stuff.
Which you can't use in this format.
That's exactly the problem.
I mean, there is some just Bagra support, but not a whole ton.
Yeah, ideally how it's meant to be used is with the Twilight Nene stuff as your ultimate / top.
I mean,
Well, mid
the
end.
the biggest issue is you really need you to put things under.
Yeah, you Nene to get the Dark Knight stuff rolling, stuff like that.
Well, anyway, I didn't have much, so it bricked a couple of times, but
Mhm.
it ultimately, I don't know. I think I broke even in terms of win losses, but the losses came first, so that means I was in like the bottom half.
Mhm.
Um. Anyway, it went pretty well. I got a couple of copies of the starter deck, and hopefully I'll get to use one of those with my friend later this week.
Yeah, I want to get one of the starter decks. They were out when I was there on Sunday, so hopefully they got the other shipment in because they got split.
It's kind of tempting to get like, I mean, you want to get two of any of them because this card game does two of the best cards in
Yeah.
most starter decks.
Well, it's like
And
I don't really play
this one
purple.
comes with a bunch of bonus cards that are
Yeah,
one-offs.
I
and,
want the
it's
bonus
almost
cards
tempting
because I play
to try and get
Alphamon.
four. Yeah.
So Soonerizamon in X Antibody, yes please.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, may or may not get more of those still, but hopefully I get to try out my decks with my friend. Last weekend I was supposed to have a thing. We were going to, some of my online friends were going to try and do a Cyberpunk Red one shot online on Discord, but it got rescheduled, so that's this Saturday, and I'm looking forward to it. And I don't think there's that much else going on, really.
Okay. Well, I guess that means it's my turn. Let me see. Let's see. My previous weekend plans were to go down and see my brother and his family because my youngest nephew was turning 4. but that ended up not happening due to a case of the stomach flu. I'm like,
Yours or theirs?
theirs. Thank
And it
God.
was like actually stomach flu, not like COVID or anything like that, right?
As far as I know, like,
Fair.
you know, I've been told, it's like, my nephew got the stomach flu. He is a 4-year-old kid, so not outside the realm of possibility here. Like, and his mother got the flu. I don't know if anyone else got it, but point is, I said no, I'm not going down there, and to my mother, because we did not feel like getting the flu. You know,
Yeah, you
So-
shouldn't travel to a place of a house where everyone there is sick. It's just not a good idea.
yeah, I'm like, I don't think everyone got sick, but enough people got sick, especially up to and including the birthday boy, that we're aiming for like 2 weeks from now, like early April. So hopefully that comes to pass. I guess in my own health, I'm pleased to report that everything is working, okay, with my digestive tract. It's been a week since I got off the meds, and I haven't had any complications or problems, since earlier in the month, which is good. It's very good. Like, and I think I mentioned last week I did the follow up with the doctor, which he's just like, we'll see where I'm at in 2.5 months. At the time, a little closer to 2 months now. Like, and yeah, I'm doing fine. Outside of the continued what I suspect to be nerve pain, but I had to cancel. As mentioned, I had to cancel the appointment and probably bring it up with the doctor on at the end of May. Like, probably gonna ask for a neurologist. Like, and that, but get to that when we get to that. Anyway, and also as a reminder, we don't have any episodes of MSP this week or next week. MSP is returning when Fragments Silicon returns in late April. So, we can actually take our time with the news and stuff if we deem fit.
Yeah,
Like,
especially since what we thought was going to happen didn't happen, so probably no update with Mace or not update. Last news desk either.
well, Mac hasn't spoken one way or another about that.
Fair.
Just keep in mind that it's like the Screaming Orange Madness hasn't been indicted yet, and the timeline is soon, but it's not exact. Like, it might happen tomorrow, it might happen next week. So it's a bit of a fluid situation. Anyway, so that's the news for the week. And, we shall, merrily roll along to the Let's Play session that we got. As we go back to Heaven's Vault. I don't think anyone here remembers exactly where we left off. So that's part of the adventure. Figuring out what we were trying to do and trying to go do it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we were looking for ancient stuff on a moon, but we didn't find any. And also, our robot is remembering things. Apparently.
I was
Right.
a real boy. You were what now?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's another adaptation of Pinocchio at this stage?
Fair. Pinocchio, but ancient.
I mean, better than Pinocchio, but shit.
I mean,
Only Guillermo del Toro managed that.
so where do you want to go?
What are
Let
our
me.
choices?
Looks
Yeah,
like Elbereth, Iox, or Withering Palace.
let's go to the Withering Palace. I don't think we've been there.
Is that not the place where we were the other time?
Uh,
I
where we were just at is Sculptor's Moon.
Okay. Well, we can either go there or we can go to one of the planets we know of. This one is going to be probably harder since it's in an uncharted zone.
Yeah.
hmm,
Whee!
the air currents. How we've
Oh, it's hard
missed
to
you.
get into this place, so I guess they're making it easy to get out.
I mean, fair. God damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, backspace.
Okay. They they're probably all dead.
I
Unless
mean, you never know.
she's suspecting that the killers of the Empire were the robots, which could be plausible.
I guess they could also reproduce.
I'm like, but that's going into a whole other topic of debate. Generational sin. A lot of empires.
Mm-hmm.
Approaching random runs.
Probably going to be doing a bit of translating.
Yep.
And you
Well,
guys.
it's the longer one, not the shorter one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that should go in the beginning.
Yeah. My brain didn't line shit up.
Oh, that's fun. The stream is buffering for me. I guess you could try the shorter sky.
Maybe. Or that is Sky. Huh. Sail.
Okay, so that is Sky. Sail.
It's been really long since we did this. Let's see, it's the second half of River, and the front part has the wigglies that I think are water, so I would say roads, but it could be winds.
Let's
Like
try.
what is a river without water?
Maybe. Sail.
Yeah, path. It's either path or wind, I think.
Yeah, we can always try wind. They'll yell at us if we're wrong.
Eventually. Sail the path, and it's related to light. It's literal light with...
Illuminates.
Yeah, illuminate makes sense. I think road or path makes more sense than the other thing. But whatever.
Approach no ruins. Uh,
Oh, you're way ahead of me now because of the buffering, I think.
Oh boy, more words.
I do see a people
Yeah.
in the middle. There's a sail at the end. It's not actually sail. It's something else, but
Yeah.
it's related. Oh, wind at the very beginning.
Oh. I'm blind. Words.
Again, it's bad that we haven't played for so long. Because it means I have forgotten all of the things we learned about grammar.
Yay. Um.
Wind and people hold up.
Wind rises or goes. Rises makes more sense because of the above, I think, but it could still be goes.
I think if this is like some kind of proverb type thing, I think rises might be better.
Time. And people will sail.
Will or now?
Act at the time, so
Yeah, that's why I'm possibly now. Though it depends if time is right, you know?
When I'm saying will sail, I mean I'm not saying like it's a it's meaning that the condition having happened, you know?
We can try it. Worst to tell us is we're wrong, right?
Mhm.
More or less.
Again, it's impossible to get a very solid body of translations on the verse, even on the first playthrough of this, I think. Because on a replay, all of the text is longer, apparently.
Alrighty. I am glad they, let me pass control over the stuff we've already done.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because I'd get us lost.
I believe that has happened before.
Many times.
Withering Way.
On the left.
That was a terrible pun.
Feel like you could hit some of these things, but you can't.
I mean, I did get caught up a little bit, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it can actually do damage to me.
Yes, we kind of gathered that, Robot. The Withering Palace is in the Withering Ways. That being said, these ways don't look very withered.
Well,
Well, I
I think
think it's. Well, we'll see.
Yes, I suppose
All
we
right,
shall.
it's an area of weaker flow. Where are we going? So this is the middle.
is that it?
Use hit the left bumper for possible search locations. Um,
Okay.
Time for some more transliteration.
I see. Yep, tails at the end.
Um,
Makes, but that's also friend. And I think the beginning is circle.
oh.
Uh,
Okay, so friend doesn't seem to be right.
Then maybe it is makes tails.
I know something else is not right there. Okay. Guess this is a new word.
Okay, it's not circle.
Or tails.
Well, this isn't some type of scroll, so
Book.
I would say it could be book. I would say star. It's in the emperor between the thing that means a person.
yeah. I'll go with star. What's the worst that could possibly happen?
So something about people and then make. Except we're not sure about the make either.
Yeah.
Wait, holy make. So, quick. What is it giving us for kind? What's the subtitle for kind?
Nice.
What's the last word then? The not this one, but the like. So it's related to right, and it's a noun. So words.
Probably. I guess kind. The only thing I can think of that would make sense here.
It could be every word, but or all words, but kind words might be interesting.
Well, especially since it deals with holy.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck it.
Might be a little bit of a Christian interpretation, but we'll go with it.
Fair. I guess we'll find out when everyone burns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We. Alrighty. So I'm gonna want to hit a. Was that a right?
It looks like you might just be able to keep right. If I'm wrong, it's because I misread which direction some of the whatever the fuck it is was flowing.
Yeah. Also, my spatial awareness ain't great, so.
I guess we'll find out.
Camera, quit it! Quit doing that, camera.
Please.
So yeah, theoretically, after this next loop, which it shouldn't matter which way you
Yeah.
go, I think.
It just goes around a mountaintop. And then... yeah. Unless I am stupid, which is entirely possible and not outside of the realm of things I have done during this Let's Play. Ready the hopper. Hippity hop. Oh.
Huzzah.
There is a bar at the top of the screen. The air is getting to me. I wonder if you can get a breathing thing.
Mm-hmm. Alright.
Maybe you shouldn't have responded to that one. Oh, okay. You healed in this wind shadow.
Mm-hmm.
You have a headscarf. You could wrap it around your mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, I assume she actually is, and it's still rough.
Mm-hmm.
A path question mark. Oh, there's something written in the stone. Or drawn. The question is, will 6 fall and can't get up?
I mean, we'll find out.
Probably not.
I guess we could go look for our little robot buddy.
Probably, yeah.
And
Oh, there's robot buddy. And you can come meet me over here.
So what did you find? You sure?
I have a feeling the robot's not telling us everything.
I want to see for myself.
I was afraid you would say that.
Yes, yes, he did.
Called it.
Shocked.
Oh, inscription. Oh. See, if we knew what this place was, this might actually be easier.
Yes.
See, I don't think this. I think the initial slash dot is not a noun or verb. So perhaps where, but
What I'm thinking.
give me
This
1
place
second.
where like feared.
Let's see what they want for this. The next thing. I guess feared find loyalty?
Plants.
This might be feared.
What part of this is similar to provide? Not much. I would say where may find, where may, I guess. No, you're right. It could be where feared plant. I don't know. What was that one related to? The one that's feared now?
Act well what?
Hmm.
If it's will, but with the interrogative thing at the beginning, then it might be may. Or must.
I guess we can try may.
Anyway,
May find.
I don't think it's an adjective.
Well, I guess it also depends what this is. If this is like a prison of some kind, then that changes things
Yeah.
very drastically.
I don't see why it's giving us provide as a hint for this.
We may come back to that one if we figure out what the hell this place is.
That's the thing. This game just generally doesn't let you come back places. You can look at the gate and see if it ever opened.
Hmm.
But I'm not that you necessarily need to.
We're stuck in here for the time being.
Mm-hmm.
Shoulder tackle. Just put your robot into it. Oh, wait a minute. Another inscription.
That's a long one.
It's where we have. It's what we have as kind, followed by.
Drown
So
and drink.
kind is probably wrong.
Probably.
Could be sick or gone.
Rick will.
Will be.
This might
Sick
be.
will be made healthy. Yeah. What is the most?
That would mean this might be some sort of hospital.
Mm-hmm.
So, what are we about to unleash? Some sort of ancient plague on the world? Did we fuck up?
Probably. I mean,
Wouldn't be the
not much.
first time.
And robots.
Emperor. Ordered?
Could
That
be.
would be likely. That is a thing that emperors often do.
Ordered.
Obeyed?
That would be the thing that I would expect to go with ordered.
Mm-hmm.
See, my brain meats can work. It just takes a little bit.
It could be spoke rather than ordered, but
Stool. So much word.
how does a sextant work in the flat thing?
Don't think about it too much.
Sextant, the way sextants work is based entirely on the curvature of the planet.
Prove this wasn't more curvature back in ancient times.
There's a your right above where it is, I think.
Hmm? Oh. God's will.
show.
Place. Yeah, show lead. It makes sense. Possibly. Show your. Okay, given those options.
Gods will fill your sailcloths.
That would make sense for a
Especially,
nautical thing.
yep. See, again, my brain works. It's not entirely broken yet. Yet. Another book.
There are a lot of books.
Much booking.
Put them down.
Robot.
I see robots below near the end.
Vanished, I'd say.
Or feared.
Yeah.
What do they want in this last word? It's possible Emperor banished robots below the Earth.
Yeah.
I mean, we're being biased by what we assume happened, but yes.
Well, and they also said they dug up many of the robots.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you are assuming
Probably.
a bit, but
Oh god, that's a lot of word.
I see. Yeah, there's what we have down as B. B built, I think, at the end. Instructed between Empress and what we have down as wood. And then is that another Empress before B built?
Yep.
And then none of our triangle squigglies or backwards threes are here, nor our down arrow, so I guess you could just put does in on
Yeah.
one of those. It doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think also that was kind of tattered, so that may not be properly
Well, the
inscribed.
problem is that the thing we have individually as does is also
Mm-hmm.
the first character of literally every verb.
Mm-hmm. Trying to break the door down.
Time to check the door. Did you get the thing on the floor there?
Oh. More learned. Oh, that's a new symbol at the end.
Yeah, I don't think we've ever seen floor and ceiling.
No.
Record be your It's your, not that.
Hmm?
Let's see, is there anything else that fits in? I guess we could put a do before that end of completely different thing. Oh no, that's the words, isn't it?
Yep. Alright.
Every, I'd say.
Let.
Let
It's a verb. It starts with the two commas.
let words be your sword.
Link. Fire is noun disaster. And work. Destroyer sword would make sense, yeah.
I'm about to break the dagger. A third inscription.
Hmm.
Alrighty. Forever. Possibly eternal. Closely related. Well, eternal or eternity.
I think it's a noun, so it would be eternity.
Eternity
They're all verbs, so.
lingers.
Good time.
Lingers, I'd say.
I would say begins, but it is up to you.
It maybe lingers if we're leaving.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
If it was on the other side of the door, maybe I'd go with begins.
We'll do for now.
Oh, look, a mural.
Someone's been this way before. Someone with a robot.
Somebody with a robot.
How long ago? That's the question.
Yeah.
This place looks quite dead.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there's no floor out there. Yeah, let's not do that.
Looks like the first step might be safe.
The first step may also be your last.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
believe it or not, she cannot walk on air.
Coward. Stuck fast.
Stuck fast, and we're fresh out of daggers.
Unless we're coming upon a sacrificing altar we can get a new dagger from.
Interesting.
Yeah, it definitely looks like some kind of ritual altar.
Yeah.
Of course, there's a joke to be said in that thing, in that statement.
Good something or a bad something.
All right, no.
That being primarily that in Anthropology East, ritual purposes is code for we have no fucking clue.
Hmm.
Written in charcoal, and charcoal does not last very long.
Dune.
What are the options for the other ones?
Yeah. You and your.
But it's not actually that. It's
Yeah.
so if you look at it, you is person mark, and then that mark means like second person or person that I'm talking to, I think. Or possibly literally person second. Your is the parenthesis for of person of you. So this could be. Well, let's see what the last one is.
No, because we're just getting into numbering.
Let's see.
Yeah, this was kind of
I wish I had any clue what base this is, but I
Yeah.
believe this is a number.
Yeah. Knowing what base numbering they used would be very helpful here.
That would be 3 something 2. So that could very easily be. No, wait, that's different than the first one of that. So,
It's probably not 1.
No.
Maybe 5. Maybe that dot they're using some kind of base 10. That dot indicates
Maybe.
half.
So then it would be 500 and something. 2 something above 2.
$520 might work.
Yeah. 20 or 16.
It looks, if we're going on the assumption of a base 2 lines, probably.
Oh, like the first one is 5.
Yeah, because the dot would indicate half of the base
The
10.
slash would be 10.
Yeah.
Oh, then it might be 120. Or it might be 5.
We can try 5. Worst they can tell us is we're wrong, right?
Uh-huh.
Especially if it was written in there may not be 520 unless, or that.
Or what?
uh,
Oh, another
yeah.
not ground.
I was about to say, there probably isn't 520 rooms. Oh, wait a minute. We missing part of the building, boys.
So that was written in charcoal, so it could have just been like someone counting days or something.
Yeah.
Clamor down is an option, but we will not do that in a hurry because of the obvious reasons.
It looks like the only way out of that one is Hopper.
Certainly, I wouldn't rely on being able to climb back up easily.
So, shall we look into the hole, boys?
Sure.
Probably next time.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's 10:45.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Right.
But yeah, we can look at all of the gods next time, since they all seem to have inspectables.
Mm-hmm.
That's the other thing, is that this is a little bit of a tricky game to play 15 minutes at a time.
It's been much more than 15 minutes.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I meant half an hour. My brain skipped.
Yeah.
We have 15 minutes left.
I mean, we have
I know we have
time.
as long as we want, but we have 15 minutes until the normal time.
Right. Like, so I'm hoping Petty is in place.
I am. I was waiting for the word.
All right. Then let us shift to the next segment. All right. Welcome to the topic of discussion for the week. So this week we are talking about Resident Evil 4. Mainly due to the fact that the remake of Resident Evil 4 is slated to come out this week. Strangely enough, on Friday.
Something like that, yeah.
I know a lot of people are already playing demos.
Well, yeah, the Chainsaw demo came out not too long ago, but also of note that the Resident Evil 4 HD fan project recently came out as well, for the old edition.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, much like we did for Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 2, I think, the Resident Evil 4 remake is just around the corner, so it's felt like time to talk about Resident Evil 4. Though it's one of those games where what is even there to say about it? I mean, plenty, but it's like Resident Evil 4 is one of those games that's gotten a lot of ink in the 18 years since its release. It's like Resident Evil 4 is generally considered to be one of the greatest horror games of all time. Greatest survival horrors. Even so far as to be said, one of the greatest games, period, of all time. It's the majority opinion, but certainly not a universal one, especially when it comes to the horror elements. As there is a significant portion of the Resident Evil fan base that's always had a disdain towards Resident Evil 4 and its immediate successors, 5 and 6, going in a more actiony direction that, got more and more actiony as the as the Resident Evils piled on here. But okay, the simple fact of the matter is Resident Evil 4 needed to happen. Like, if Resident Evil 4 didn't go the direction that it did, I would postulate Resident Evil would have died. I know the old, I know the old school survival horror fans, like those style of games, but the simple fact of the matter is that kind of design style was becoming very outdated by 2004, 2005.
Well, and
Like
also
you can say either way about scariness versus action factors, but am I remember correctly that this is the one that invented not using tank controls?
Um, that's a bit of a debate.
I mean,
because,
okay, the first Resident Evil game that had like a modern control scheme.
yes, but also no.
Oh,
That is to say, it's still got tank controls. Believe it or not, the difference was the camera.
oh,
Yeah,
right. Sorry, I was thinking about the other part of the jankiness.
yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Resident Evil 4's control scheme is modern-ish, but it's still it's still limiting because you can't aim and shoot in this game. You have to stop and aim, or at least in the initial version of this game. Because that was changed for the Wii edition, if I'm remembering correctly. Like, indeed, the Wii edition of Resident Evil 4 is considered to be an exemplar of the point and shoot controls that the Wii excelled at, even though it was a third person game. Well, no, though it could have been also stop and shoot. Like, I do admit, I never played the Wii version. I played Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube back in the day.
I mean, in fairness, I believe in real life stopping to shoot is recommended as well. And yes, I know Leon is whatever.
Yeah.
He's a professional. But he's not Leon the professional. That's a different movie.
Yeah. It's like, another limitation of the game was no real-time item switching or weapon switching. Like, that's something that wouldn't happen until Resident Evil 5, if I'm remembering correctly. But, generally, Resident Evil 4 did modernize this franchise for the time. It's just, compared to a lot of pure action games, the game feels still stiff and janky. See also its spiritual successor, Dead Space. Like, Dead Space has that intentional clunkiness to it. That's the thing. It's this is still a survival horror game, even though it's got much more in the way of action. It's just, this is the Resident Evil game that blended the two probably the best. Resident Evil 5, well, that gets into the whole debate of and not just the setting, but the forced co-op and blah blah blah. And Resident Evil 6 is just a straight up action game. I don't think there's too much debate about it. But yeah, Resident Evil 4 was also a semi hard reset of the game series. That is to say, it's the game that put an unceremonious end to the Umbrella Corporation.
Or at least
And
doesn't
again,
deal with them extensively.
well, like the remnant that survive is basically Wesker's cell or whatever. You know, like Wesker's still a force. He's dealt with in Resident Evil 5. But the most you've got here is Ada Wong acting as his agent once again. If I'm remembering correctly, it's been a while. But this is the start of the Plagas saga. Where instead of pure distilled Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, George Romero zombies here, former corpses, you got the parasite inflected plagas.
Which has always been, and pretty much all of the games after this, I think, have some kind of parasite-based bioweapon enemies.
That's another thing of being, like, at least the mainline games, like Resident Evil, what was it? Revelations, for example, goes back to like the Umbrella Corporation and the viruses and all that stuff.
I don't know if it's specifically Umbrella. I've been watching a Let's Play of that recently, but yeah, it's viruses again. So that's true. But yeah, because the theme of the series is actually, oh hey, all of the bad stuff is bioweapons and bioterrorism and shit. But
yeah, but yeah, in this case, the plotline is much more localized, and it's pretty simple when you get down to it. You're dealing with a guy named Salazar and his Los Grandos, the cattle, if you will. And he's kidnapped the president's daughter, Ashley. And Leon S. Kennedy has to prove he's a bad enough dude to rescue said president's daughter.
Like, damn it.
Hey, if he didn't, I was going to.
Yeah. I mean, it was coming. But, and like I said, things like Salazar has greater ambitions, I think. Like, it's a Resident Evil story, so admittedly, I wasn't paying that much attention to it. Plus, Resident Evil 4 is the first Resident Evil to be intentionally goofy. There's been this idea that Resident Evil has always been a campy franchise in the intentional sense, and the answer is actually no. Resident Evil, at least in the Japanese, has always been played a lot straighter. A lot of that just, was
it's just they got that particular brand of localization amount of effort that results in such gems as you, the master of unlocking, and
you almost became a Jill sandwich.
Yes.
Like, so much of that was in the localization, especially the first Resident Evil. Or stuff of the that was the style at the time, like the full-on FMV sequence in the first Resident Evil game. But Resident Evil 4 recognizes the first time that the series decided to embrace the tongue and the cheek. Because how else do you explain midget Napoleon or dwarf Napoleon or little person Napoleon, however you describe the people with I don't remember if he had a like disease or whatever was going on there. But what was his name? God, I'm trying to remember. Like but you know the guy I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's even by Resident Evil standards pretty ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Sadler, not Salazar. Like, yeah. Also, you've got the rival in Krauser. Like, also, I suppose we have to talk about Ashley's role in the game.
Do we have
You
to?
know, well, she's
I heard you liked
famously,
Escort Quest, so he made half of the game an Escort Quest.
yeah. I'm like, she's kind of the poster child for why escort missions are terrible.
I mean, she.
It makes sense because she's a non-combatant, and you don't have the time or the resources to train her in the ways of shooting a gun.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make it any less annoying to protect her. Like, there's a lot of angles to approach Resident Evil 4. Also, because um, I don't think Resident Evil 4 has appeared on What Happened yet, but I imagine it might be soon because um, Resident Evil 4, I'm not sure if you could refer to it as a rocky development, but it's known that it went through some iterating. Like far more so than a typical Resident Evil game. Mainly because, once again, it was felt that the franchise was getting really fucking stale. Um, Not helped were the lackluster sales of the Resident Evil 1 remake and Resident Evil 0. Although
Mm-hmm.
not helping their case was, these were games that were on the GameCube. Mature games at that. And the GameCube was not exactly a sales tour de force. To say the least. But Resident Evil 4 bequeathed us, for example, Devil May Cry. Like one of the various versions of Resident Evil 4 was ended up being too different from what a Resident Evil game would or should be. And that ended up being Devil May Cry. Not the first time that a Resident Evil game got reset. Resident Evil 2 very famously had its development halted and reconfigured halfway through development. I think with the case of Resident Evil 4, it went through like at least 3 versions before we got what Resident Evil 4 became. Also, Resident Evil 4 famously a member of the now infamous Capcom 5, which became the Capcom 4, and only one of those games stayed exclusives in the GameCube because even before the game came out, Capcom announced that Resident Evil 4 was coming to the PlayStation 2, which I know caused some consternation with of the game's producer Shinji Mikami, who said he would rather have his head cut off than have the game come to the PlayStation 2.
Yeah, well, Shinji Mikami says a lot of things.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not exactly sure why he said that. Like, I get why GameCube defenders, the System Wars bullshit, that, why they would be mad about this. But for fuck's sakes, we're talking about a GameCube exclusive in the year 2004 initially, but 2005. Like, the GameCube by that point had become a disappointing failure.
Meanwhile, the
Nintendo's lost
PS2 was going on to be one of the greatest console successes ever, especially at that time.
best-selling console of all time. Yeah, gee, I wonder why a PlayStation 2 version emerged.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because, Capcom might want to have this game on a platform where people would actually buy it.
Yeah, weird how that works.
Yeah. Now, I get why GameCube owners would have been mad about this, not so much, breaking exclusivity for the GameCube, and not even that short a window. I think about 6 months. It came with extras, but
that's what they were mostly pissed about.
Yeah, what would have been DLC in later generations, separate ways. Which admittedly I never played because once again I played the GameCube version. I do have this on PC, but for whatever reason, Resident Evil 4 didn't run on well on my laptop.
Yeah.
It's not a power thing. It's a goddamn 2005 game.
I think part of it is it might be missing codecs that it wanted from CPUs back then that modern CPUs have just gotten rid of.
It's the second version of Resident Evil 4, not the initial one. Oh God, no, that was just a porting disaster.
That might be constituted as a war crime.
Yeah. Also, Resident Evil 4 is the game where it's not the game that introduced mercenaries. That's still Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 4 is where mercenaries got perfected. At least, so I'm told. Like, I gotta admit, I didn't play a lot of mercenaries. I think I was just done with Resident Evil by the time I was done. Yeah. And yeah, Resident Evil 4 has gone on to be one of the most, if not the most ported Resident Evil game of the entire franchise. Seeing additions really, it's easier to name the platforms that didn't see a version of Resident Evil 4. It's that kind of porting job. It's like probably the most notable exceptions are the Xbox, because once again, we're talking about 2004, 2005. And Capcom's a Japanese developer. They already had the contract for the GameCube, but also wanted the PlayStation. Now, I suppose the biggest difference between the GameCube and the PlayStation 2 versions is the power differentials. Like the sixth generation, I believe we call that. It's probably the last generation where the power differentials between consoles was significant enough to notice.
And funnily enough, fucking wasn't the GameCube like one of the more powerful systems?
It was definitely significantly more powerful than the PlayStation 2.
Like, the only thing that held it back was the mini DVD format. If they used regular DVDs, holy shit.
Probably. Yeah, the mini DVD format was especially bad for sound because of there was less amount of space in those mini discs. the sound had to be far more compressed.
Yeah.
Um,
It was either that or you were leaving out levels of the game and people would be pissed.
well, you could do a second disc, which did happen every now and again. But the big differential between the PlayStation 2 and the GameCube was the cutscenes. In that all of the GameCube stuff is real-time engine stuff, where the PlayStation 2 had to do pre-rendered cutscenes. The PlayStation 2 was significantly weaker compared to the GameCube, and especially the Xbox.
Oh yeah, the Xbox is just holy shit.
Maybe not that level, but like there were still significant reasons to do single platform targeting.
Nowadays,
back
everything.
then there was still a lot more actual hardware separation.
Yeah, but I'm just talking on a pure power level. And then came the Wii version, which is generally considered to be the definitive version, because it's got the graphical fidelity of the GameCube version, the bonus content of the PlayStation 2 version, and the control setup of the Wii version. Once again, that's weird to say, but people swear by the Wii version of Resident Evil 4. I'm not sure if like the PlayStation 3 version has move support, but I think that kind of tells you how
I think the
many
PS3 port came out before the Move.
It's possible. And there were two PC versions. There was the initial PC version, which was the pretty typical Capcom hack job of the era. See also like the initial version of Devil May Cry 3.
I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah. Or maybe don't. The the later PC version called the Ultimate HD Edition. That's the good one. And Resident Evil 4 has gone on to sell 11.4 million copies. One of the better selling titles, I think, though that's across all versions. Like the best selling individual Resident Evil, I believe, is Resident Evil 5. Or maybe it's Resident Evil 8 at this point.
Fuck if I know.
It's apparently the second best selling Resident Evil game. It's still like, and getting to the remake, I know this one was seen as the most controversial to remake because Resident Evil 4 is heralded as being modern enough to not need a remake. Oh yes, and there's also the virtual reality version that's apparently really good. Don't have VR, so I couldn't attest to that. But Resident Evil 4. I can't speak to how well the remake came out because we were not gifted an early copy of the game or anything like that. And I'm probably not going to get Resident Evil 4's remake anytime soon. I don't buy games at $60. And, I know people who absolutely love Resident Evil 4 in particular. The crazy people who actually bought the chainsaw controller.
I forgot that was a thing.
I didn't, and it's definitely warranting a mention. I mean, I want to say that they're like somebody's releasing a chainsaw controller for the new one, for the remake.
Well, there are so many third-party people that make controllers now. I mean, there always were, but now that they're all Bluetooth, it's easier.
Fair enough. Like, I'm not sure if Capcom's doing another official chainsaw controller. I'll be honest, I haven't been following the game that closely. I just know it's been getting some very rave reviews. Like, this does seem to be the year of the horror remake being really good. We're 2 for 3 so far. The third one, the System Shock remake. Which is coming out at the end of May.
Yeah, but isn't that one not quite done yet?
It was supposed to come out this month, but
Yeah.
beta testing has led them to delay things a few months. I mean, I did ask Steven on to the show, and he's just, they're kind of laying low until the game's out. Don't blame them. It's been a 7-year journey, maybe more, for that game.
Internally, never doing this again. Never doing this again.
Well, hopefully they don't have to do this again.
Fair.
Like if they do a System Shock 2 remake, presumably they've got the systems, the technology, and the team in place where they're not going to spend 7 to 8 years on the project. But that's a discussion for another day.
I mean, even just making games takes longer. Remaking them isn't. I mean, it depends on how much is like transferable, but the longer it's been.
Well, here's the thing. Resident Evil 4 is a remake in the strict and proper sense of the word. Like, a lot of what we once called a remake is now a remastering.
Yeah.
Or it's not a reimagining. It's not Resident Evil 2's remake or Final Fantasy 7's remake where, this is just a different game at this point. Resident Evil 4 definitely holds truer to the spirit of the old Resident Evil 4 than Resident Evil 2 or 3 did to those old Resident Evil games.
On the other hand, now there's a chance that the enemies can fake you out when they're throwing stuff at you.
Among other things, like there's been a number of tweaks and changes. That much has been confirmed. But what those are under heavy NDA. Like, no. Like, it's one of those, you don't speak about this under, the penalty of NDA. So,
yeah.
as far as what's new in Resident Evil 4, we'll have to find out in a couple of days at time of recording. So, like, even if we knew, we wouldn't be able to speak about it.
But we don't. Because companies don't talk to us enough.
It depends on the company, but we've never had connections to Capcom.
Yeah, Capcom never talks to us particularly.
Believe me, if we did, I'd be talking my ear off about Monster Hunter, but that's an entirely different game.
Maybe one day. Not today.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that'll about do it for our discussion on Resident Evil 4. And indeed, our session of Fragments of Silicon here. So coming up on Friday, something a bit different. Instead of like traditional interview, it's like we're doing a multiplayer let's play of Minecraft Dungeons. It'll be Petty Fan and I. I don't think Golix has any way to access the game without like buying it.
Unless he wants to get.
I I probably won't be playing, but we'll see. I may have some stuff going on Friday, but I should probably still be able to be here, at least someone.
Well, and also Game Pass is a thing.
Yeah.
It's left up to you. And coming up on the Sunday reviews, this will be our last review set of the season. We'll be reviewing Defend from Candyland. I don't know how they got away with that name, because I'm pretty sure Hasbro owns a trademark on Candyland.
We'll find out.
I mean, it's not us that would be sued.
Yeah.
We didn't name it. June Shining, Dunk Rats with a Z for extra coolness factor, and Minecraft Dungeons. I'm reviewing Minecraft Dungeons mainly for my nephew, who is 10 years old and is a Minecraft fanatic. Not surprising because he's 10 years old. Though, will Minecraft Dungeons satiate the desires of a kid who's into Minecraft? I couldn't speak to that. I'm too much of an
Dungeons is like the dungeon crawling RPG version, right?
Yeah.
With probably significantly less of the actual... Well, maybe not less of the mining and crafting, but less of the building.
Significantly. Anyway, so that's coming up on the week ahead. As previously mentioned, we have no Moonhawk Studios Presents this week or the following week. And until next time, I shall wish you good gaming.